stop, and then you restart, you're entering public session. But you restart the recording, somehow you need to key.
Oh, so we're now out of executive session, so we would need to stop that recording and then back into public session where that
Yes.
restart.
Back session time. And all the board members are present that were present in the public session earlier.
I need Kyle like just to
So
record
moved.
it, so I can. It's now 1:04 and we are out of executive session. We're back into public session with all of our board members still present.
Yep, open the door and invite Kathy back.
She said she was gonna go run an errand.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I think we got to get 110.
We're actually pretty close.
The back.
Okay, I'll go grab it.
I'll be right back. Thank you, Noel.
Okay. Thank you guys for being super flexible today. Appreciate it. Feel like you're like jumping all over the agenda. Molly, are you ready for a CPC committee report?
Yep.
Do you have that?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah, they need, do you want me to go?
Yes, please.
I'm just gonna, drink first. All right. In the matter of case 2021-15, I move to approve and adopt the stipulated final order in this case. And then we need to do our vote. So I'm just gonna read the names, make it, is that work for folks? Okay. Amy,
Well, this is Amy and I'll second.
all right, second, sorry,
Gotcha.
getting things done too fast. Amy, can I get your vote? Thank you for the
Amy,
second.
this is I. Amy, I.
Molly, aye. Nicole?
Aye.
Olivia? Aye. And Patty is not here, so abstain. Troy?
Aye.
Right, motion passes. In the matter of case 2024-27, I move to approve and adopt the stipulated final order in this case. Can I get a second?
second.
Thank you, Nicole. Amy?
Aye.
Molly, aye. Nicole?
Aye. Nicole, aye.
Okay. Olivia?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Motion passes. In the matter of 2024-44, I move to close this case
This is Amy and I'll second.
and vote. Amy?
Amy, I.
Molly, aye. Nicole?
Nicole, I.
Olivia? Aye. Troy?
But double check, because we'd have any discussion.
You don't have to say it.
This part?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Aye.
In the matter of case 2024-62, move to close this case.
Nikki, I'll second.
Thank you, Nikki. Amy?
Aye.
Molly, aye. Nicole?
Nicole, I.
Olivia? Aye. Troy?
Aye.
Motion passes on all of them, and that is it for Consumer Protection Committee.
We don't have any special reviews, but we added wanting to talk about the CSWA employee stats.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, and then you're gonna call.
Oh, yes.
Sorry,
I'm
I can call in.
Yeah.
No, you can
go
do
grab
that. Yeah, just go grab. Yeah, you finish your notes. So, typically, we kind of put a document together, kind of explain the scenario and the facts, and then what we're shooting for as a conclusion. So, here it is. All right. So, Cassie's going to kind of explain the scenario. What we're looking for at the end of this is we're ultimately going to ask you for a timeline for a new plan of supervision. So as she explains this scenario, that's kind of where she's going. If we're going to be asking the board if you can help us with the timeline that a person can submit a new plan of supervision. So.
Okay, so, as you all know, our regulations for CSWAs require that the CSWAs are an employee at an agency.
That is 87.
So the first step that we would take is if we think that this might be a contractor, we would ask them,
Well, Not employee, because we're not gonna go into specifics.
Yeah,
A person
so
who's
we
not
would
employed.
just, if we suspect that they're not an employee of the agency, we would ask, based on our roles, we'd lay the roles out in the email and we'd ask, are you an employee of this agency, and do the agency and also CC their supervisor. If they come back saying that, no, I am not an employee, then they don't fit our definition or they don't meet our requirements for the plan of supervision for the CSWA.
Is there a legal definition of employee that we're using?
Yes.
Okay.
So and Kyle can help me with this, but what we've determined is it's not the board's burden to explain to the person what an employee is. So, but the employment department does have a definition of employee, and person that's an employee, you're an employee because, there's certain things that employees do and certain things that people who's not an employee don't. So
So when we ask someone, are you an employee? Are we saying, are you an employee based on the definition by, like, are we providing that definition? Or is
that's
it
how
what
we're
else?
seeing that.
So there's not going to be any consistency in answers
And
because it's my own definition.
so a lot of times though, when people have sent us contracts for their CSWA stuff, it
Right.
directly says in there,
Right.
contractor.
If the person has a document and it doesn't say employee on it, they're not an employee.
Yeah, so most
not
of them
complicated.
that we've seen will say contractor.
Okay.
on this. So if they are a contractor, that is by definition not an employee.
Or anything else that's not an employee.
Yes, so if they say that they are not an employee, we're coming back to them. And that's where we need the guidance. How long, when are we saying that their hours can't count now, since we know that they're not an employee? Are we giving them a grace period of 30 days to find a new plan of supervision and then putting them to inactive? Or are we saying, as of today, since we know you're not an employee, your hours can no longer count?
So, and let me add to that. Now, the subset of that population are people who already have a plan of supervision. So somehow they were able to put in a plan of supervision, and somehow either we didn't catch it or they didn't stay. And we approved that plan of supervision. They're working, and then later on down the line, we found out that they are not in fact an employee in an agency that fits an employee definition.
Can we go
So in
back
that
to the
scenario-
rule and what the rule says? Because that would be super helpful
Yeah.
just for me to know what this, look, you're already looking at that. Troy, Troy's on it.
Yep.
I can read it. So it's in Division 1.
Okay.
0006. Number 1, agency for the purposes of meeting the requirements of a plan of supervision as set out in Division 20 of this chapter means a private or public organization that, through its employees, engages in critical social work defined in ORS, characterized by the following, and then it gives the agency definition.
Wow.
So my question is, so if I am a social worker and I'm supposed to know this stuff, right? There's the burden on me to know this stuff, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So
absolutely.
with that, and I moved from working with Olivia, who is an agency, to becoming a contractor, doesn't that fall on to me to be able to do it? So wouldn't any of my hours not count once I left Olivia's employment? So why is this even a conversation? Like, I'm like,
Because some have slipped through the cracks and
Yep.
already been approved. And so the
Exactly.
question that they're bringing to us is what to do with the existing, not future,
Yep.
right?
so if they got approved through
Through us.
this,
Yes.
why is this not an integrity issue with the board for them not doing this? Do you see what I'm saying? Is that it's not being forthright. From here, they probably knew they went from being an employee to a contractor. They submitted.
We're only ever.
But that doesn't- But that is not true because they can be a contractor as long as it meets the definition of agency.
Which most
No,
of these
that's
places do.
That's right. That's true.
Right.
But yeah,
Okay.
But the problem is it says employee.
yes.
So
Okay.
like, because what we're mostly talking about, right, are these places that contract, they hire social workers and they give them a cut, right?
CSWAs in particular.
Yeah,
So it's predatory.
Yes.
right. And this there's been I think that for a long time that we were all very confused around what makes an employee, what doesn't, because this language, these agencies are doing work through their employees before we kind of agreed on how to define employee.
And like based on this agency definition, I talked about last time, the first place I worked at, cases were not assigned.
There you go.
Billing was not centralized. I had to do my own billing. I had to figure out how to bill
Okay.
Care Oregon. Organization collects all fees. Yeah, they took the money and then gave me a little bit. Organization, yeah, controls client records, displays its name on the premises. It was virtual. But the like disclosure that I had for my clients had my name specifically on it. Like it wasn't the agency, it was like my disclosure, and every worker had their own disclosure.
So, and what you are actually focusing in on, and we've talked about this already, is, and Kyla's already given us, well, yeah, right. But the issue here is that we need to firm up this definition.
Yeah.
So these organizations are taking advantage of the fact that we don't have a firm enough definition
Of
to
what?
be able to, of agency.
Of agency.
Yeah, we've got H through I here, and that's just too many things. We need to
But-
reduce that down. in
But
order to-
even number one that says through its employees.
Yes, that's exactly.
Which
what it
again
says.
is the like, what does that mean?
It means employee.
But what, like, if I'm contracting him, am I then an employee? Or we're not referencing any
Any definition.
definition?
So there's employee and there's not employee. I'm an employee. And when I filled out my documentation and came to work here, all of my documentation says, and I'm an employee. So if you got a document that says something other than employee, you're not an employee. That one's not a complicated.
An example was
I
in
think it is. I do think it is the complicated one for them,
yeah.
because I do work for them.
Well, and
That's
Not if
how
they give
people
you a
would
document that
understand it.
says something other than employee.
There was a case, the supervision request, I don't know, some sort of in the CEC or CPC, whatever committee last time. And the person submitted this thing asking if these CSWAs could be employees or whatever. But the contract that they provided for the CSWAs specifically said, is a contractor, is not an employee. So sometimes it is going to be clear where it's like, they're not an employee. And then some might say like, is employed by this place, but you're a contractor. And I remember this conversation came up last time. You were like, we can't ask about tax status. The tax status indicates whether it's an employee or not an employee.
It can.
Right, but we don't have to go in. That's not a requirement that we have to go into. So
Yeah.
if they have a document and the document says of something other than employee, they're not an employee. Doesn't matter. We don't have to explain that.
Document
That's not our burden.
so that's the issue then, right?
Yeah.
Unless we're requiring a document from every single person that specifically wait, I have to
Offer
prove
letter.
I'm an employee. Anything, right? Offer letter could be something from HR, could be a contract that defines me as an employee. So we have to do that for every single person then, right?
Well, I mean, just the ones that we suspect that we have looked at, sometimes just the name of the agency will raise a question. So then we will look it up on the internet, and sometimes it's easy. And so then we can ask, are you an employee of this agency? And we're not asking for any documents at that time. That's basically the burden is on them of knowing our rules and being truthful and ethical.
But this goes
So-
back to like, if you're asking somebody if they're an employee, if they don't, if we don't have a shared understanding of what that means, I could very well believe I am answering your question honestly and say yes, and
Yeah.
I'm not meeting your expectation of employee. And I think
Right.
that is the crux, one of the crux
Well,
of the
so,
issue. It's like,
so,
So
well,
what
not,
do we need to do to clearly define that for people?
Well, the
Um,
employee has benefits.
Not always.
so,
Not always, okay. okay.
so kind of, back to, Nikki's point, part of becoming a CSWA is exposure to the rules and definitions. All of that is part of walking into the CSWA. Okay, so I don't know that. I guess I'll be completely honest. We don't have the capacity to go to each and every individual and find out whether every person fits the employee definition. That's not the goal here. So the goal here is to establish kind of a simple checks and balance. And then, so there's an ethical requirement. If you grab a document and you're looking at that document and that document says contractor sitting right on the document, and then you sign it, you know that that says contractor, not employee. Now, we don't have the capacity to go hunt down 10,000 or 3,000 CSWAs and say, are you doing this thing? It's simply a checks and balance that we send out and we ask the question. And you're right.
We can't.
Some person might believe that they are. And if they are, I mean, we don't have the capacity to go check behind every single person, see that they are. But if we find evidence that they're not, then we can follow up on that case.
The kind of like red, like orange flags do you get, do you think? The ones where you're like, I'm not sure, and you have to go back and ask the question. I mean, is it several a month?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so is it just as simple as not asking if they're an employee, but if there's a question at that point, like if it's questionable based on
Yeah.
what you've looked at or what you know from a previous one, that the question is not, are you an employee? The request is, we need documentation that indicates you're an employee at this agency.
Well,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, I guess that we've always erred on the side of asking first and not requesting that documentation. Because there are some agencies that we know are employing or not having contractors. So we know that there's a vast number of CSWAs in that area. So are we allowed to ask for? Do we want
To be completely transparent, we don't have the resources for that kind of thing.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little unclear why we're even having the conversation if all we're gonna do is ask if they're employees. Yes or no? Why are we, if you're saying you can't do anything else, then,
Well,
you know, like,
once they say no, that's what we're saying. Once they say no, they don't meet the plan of
yeah.
the plan of supervision. So that's where we're asking. Typically, if a person leaves their job, we'll email them and be like, you have 10 days, a grace period of 10 days to get a new plan of supervision. Otherwise, you have to go inactive. Because in our rules, as the SWA has to have a plan of supervision. So if they leave their workplace, that's what we'll do. Now, since we know that they're not, we've asked and they say, no, they're not, then would we give them a 10-day grace period? Would they?
Something different.
I think it would
Something
have to be at least like 60 days. Because if we were the people that said, yeah, we approve this, and then we're like, oh, wait, never mind, we looked at it again and you're not. Like CSWA is already being like the lowest paid. If you're in a position where you're a contractor and like either believed that was okay or like, again, like the like predatory thing that happens, like these folks were preyed on potentially to like be in this position. We said, sure, yeah, that works. And we're like, oh, wait, no, it doesn't. You have 10 days. And it's like, what about my rent? What about my ability to eat?
Yeah, so
60 days.
would it be 60 days? If we did 60 days, would their hours not count as of that 60th day in 2 months? Or would their hours stop counting from the date that we emailed them? That's kind of what we
I
need
think
to
they
get,
would, I think the hours would need to keep counting until the end of, we're saying 60 days period. Because yeah, if my hours not count, then I'm not working. You might as effectively, if you're going to say the hours don't count after that, you might as well say like, you're done, like period. I need hours to make money. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but it's
It's
different
really
things. We're not asking people to quit necessarily, but they may have to hit a
Yeah.
pause on their licensure progress, which is
Yeah.
two separate things, right? So you can keep working and
Yeah.
give me a plan, but that doesn't necessarily mean we need to keep counting the hours.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
Why would we do
But
that?
I'm thinking like in the context that I was in, that was the only thing for me to do. I made money only if I saw hours, because right, it's the percentage that like of each session you saw. So if you're saying none of these hours count, I mean, I guess I
they
could
don't
keep
count towards
working for
licensure.
free.
What I would, I guess, middle ground around, we're not gonna take away what we've already approved. But
Sure.
now that we've caught it, between now and your new plan, that those hours don't count.
Are they still allowed to practice in this time period?
that's why, that's
would be
the 60,
60 days.
if you're saying 60 days until you have a new plan of supervision that meets the employee definition and the agency definitions, you can stay a CSWA, but once that 60 days comes up,
Right.
we'll set them to inactive and they can no longer.
Can I give 2 cents? Hey,
Whoa,
Hi.
Public.
Yeah, this is public comment. So, sorry. You can submit public comment when we have the second well, go ahead.
Yep. Oh, yes, James, I was just gonna say
Oh,
that.
sorry, I just jumped in late. I apologize.
Actually, what's next on our agenda is
Got
public
it.
comment.
I'll hold, my bad.
Oh,
Sorry.
perfect. Thank you so much. So glad.
Thanks, Jay.
I didn't know you were here, James.
I jumped in a little late. I'm sorry about that.
But you just made the comment that was just made was if they don't meet the definition of employee or agency, and we don't have a
We
definition.
don't have a definition of employee.
So that becomes,
Well, if they become an employee in a place,
If they don't
fits
meet
the
our,
agency definition.
if they don't meet our rules.
Well, it's just employee in a place that fits the agency definition.
am I?
It's just that.
The board could define what it means by employee
Mhm.
in its rules. It does not. Look at the traditional definition.
The Department of Labor has a
Yes, they
page that's
do.
all
They sure
worker
do.
or independent contractor, and it
Yep.
also has an economic reality test. How you can decide what this
There are
is.
different
Yeah,
tests.
they have all of that.
Depends on
Mhm.
which regulatory area you're in.
Mhm.
So the board wants to, clarify that. They probably.
Yeah, we can tighten that up. I mean, we know we need to tighten that up anyway.
That they want for purposes of that rule.
Right.
And that goes through the rules.
That's a change.
committee.
Yes.
It's a rule text.
Okay.
And if the board wants to have some sort of a grace period, which a person is able to practice without being under a plan supervision, that.
It's a rule change. Yes.
So you cannot practice in CSWA except when you have an approved plan supervision. So the board is saying or telling this person that we're denying that you have a plan or your plan is no longer approved. From that point on, the CSWA could not practice. But
And-
there's not a grace period in the rules right now. So the
And-
board could do that by rule.
And we already know that we need to fix this rule. So that, that this is just an interim until we fix this rule.
Can we do an interim?
No.
Now it sounds like Kyle just said we can't.
Yeah.
That
Well-
wouldn't be consistent with the board's rules.
No, it says right here, for the agencies of meeting plan supervision, it means a private organization that through its employees, right? And so the person has to be an employee by rule.
Right, but what they're saying, is if it turns out they're not an employee, so their plan of supervision is no longer approved, then that person cannot continue to practice.
Oh, they would have to stop immediately. by rule.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Correct.
Current.
Oh.
Not allow for practice without.
I understand. Okay,
We're jeopardizing their
Okay.
livelihood.
all right. So there's the answer. Okay.
So then,
We'll, I'll go ahead.
Maybe throwing another wrinkle in this,
Sure.
because through its employees is associated with agency.
Correct.
It is not associated with me. So could you have an agency that has both employees
Mhm.
and contractors?
Oh, yeah,
The
absolutely.
contractor's plan still can be approved and available because the agency is providing service through employees. But this particular person is a contractor.
The board has never interpreted the rule that way.
I would, come into that, it would be a valid interpretation because employees is not associated with me. It's associated with the term agency
Well, to me, that's part of the conversation
that we need to have.
about changing the rule.
Yep.
So what do we want it to explicitly say then that the CSWA needs to be the employee?
Correct.
So that's,
I agree.
I think it's part of that conversation.
That's because that just, to me, is a
Mhm.
different wrinkle. You could have that scenario pop up and we may.
Well, maybe
stick to
that's
the spots that
exactly
would
why
like that.
there are CSWs out there who had plans approved because this has been the rules are so unclear.
Yeah, that is true.
And they were written in a time before some of these agencies actually existed. quite honestly.
Exactly.
So
And they come here and they look at that and then they come here and take it down to that.
we've been playing catch up. Yeah, we've been playing catch up to how the market is changing and it's
just gonna
happened
keep
fast.
changing.
so then are we waiting?
We'll figure that. I mean, we just had, we just had a clarification that if you're not an employee, then there is no option. That's it.
So that there's no employee, they cannot practice, so then.
Well, but I don't know that, right? I don't know that the juice is worth the squeeze, honestly. So we can talk more. about
If
it.
the CSWA comes back and says they are not an employee, if they're, then they can't practice.
Yeah.
And that's what rules
Practice
says.
immediately.
Yeah.
That's according to the rule.
Yeah.
Well, but you know, I don't know that I'm motivated to ask the question now. So, you know.
And yeah, like I leaning towards like not doing anything because ultimately, yeah, like
Until the rules get cleaned.
And
we're
those
just
rules get-
punishing CSWAs.
Yes, agreed.
Right, for the lack of clarity around the rules,
Yeah.
and again, for how rapid fire the field changed, and that we, as a board,
Completely.
you know,
agree.
are playing catch up.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Prior history.
Great, adding that to, so that will need to go to a rules advisory.
Yes, and this one is a bigger one. I mean, that, yeah, you all are gonna have to, well, we already have a group that does it, and so, yeah, you all will have to meet. And
Yeah.
Who's on the rules advisory committee right now? Just you? Isn't there supposed to be?
oh, no, we're supposed to have two. So we have one that's a board one, and then we have the other one that
The
approves.
board one is just a board rules committee and then the advisory.
Rules committee, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a rules committee and then a rules advisory committee.
So who,
I
Okay.
go to the rules advisory.
But no, Amy's not the only person on the rules advisory committee. We have a full
Oh,
committee.
like we have
okay,
public members.
there's, okay. There's a rules committee,
Yes,
correct?
Yes.
Who's on that? Just you? Is there
That all of
supposed to be
us?
another board member?
Let me see
Okay.
who else is on it. It's been so long since I've looked at this list and it might.
Because,
You, Nikki? Oh,
no,
okay.
I think it's just me now.
Okay, because we had a member
Yes.
position. Okay, so do we need to identify someone right now to,
Oh, yeah, she's checking. who else on this committee.
the fact that nobody
And I think you're.
raised their hands?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was pretty sure that
Okay.
we had a previous board member who was on it.
Okay, Amy is not in the room, but are there people who are interested in being on that committee with Amy?
I can help. I mean, I can help in that world. That's,
Okay,
That's-
I mean,
we can double check.
I just want to make sure, yeah, if Olivia would like to be part of that. but-
Right.
I mean, committees can have 3 members, right? So.
Yes.
Okay,
committees.
so why don't,
Sure.
can we just say Troy for sure, and that we can follow up with Olivia outside of the meeting to see if she wants to be involved? Doesn't have to be a conversation in the meeting, right? It's nothing we vote on, so. Does that work?
Yeah, the board chair appoints.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that is the rules committee. Rules advisory committee is separate.
Can I do want to say that publicly, though, that Troy has said he
Sure,
wants to be
yeah.
part of the rules committee. And so,
Yeah.
she does it all. Yeah, Troy, we will officially appoint you to the rules committee as of today.
And then rule advisory committee, who is on that?
Pull up that list. Give me this.
Has to be done for each rulemaking.
Yes.
Oh, really? Brand new
Each
committee?
individual-
It should be done for each.
Have it up and just.
Oh, okay.
Members of the community that are affected by that rule.
Okay,
So for this one.
thank you.
So, yeah.
So for
Got it.
this change, we'll have to have a new.
Making.
Perfect. That is helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, for this, we'll have to have. a new advisory.
Okay.
Hello, James. Thank you for your, thank you so
Hi.
much for your patience.
And
We are to our public comment time, so we would love to turn the time over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Can I ask questions too? I'm not 100% sure how this works.
Usually it's just comment and not a dialogue.
Okay. I certainly don't have a problem talking, but I wanted to make sure I was speaking clearly about, I'll do my best here. So, you know, I'm with Mindful Therapy Group, and we have a model that's a 1099 model, and to partner in Oregon, you know, with the social work board, we actually made quite a few changes to our supervision structure to align with the agency requirements, which are pretty stringent. And as we read the rules as they are now, which I think you all acknowledged, right, is the definition of employee as written in these rules isn't defined, but what an agency is extremely well defined. And to my understanding, those rules are there to protect the associate. That's why they're there, right? Like to say there's a structure in place by which there's a shared liability, and that there's a supervision structure in place to protect the associate. And I think that, I mean, I certainly also, knowing some of the other groups out there, like I would say, yeah, there's a risk in both a W-2 model and a 1099 model of CSWAs being, taken advantage of. And I mean, when I was in Texas, I was called an intern at the time, but yeah, when I was an intern, I mean, there were lots of things that happened that probably weren't great for me as a new clinician, depending on where I worked and that sort of thing. But I think that, if we're looking at truly like what's best for the social work associate, I think defining the structure of the environment in which you want them to work is way more important than the legal definition of W-2 or 1099. And, from a compensation perspective, I mean, we have, associates who, see fewer patients than they would at, community mental health, who make, an actual living. Like they can live, they make a living wage with us, right? Whereas if you go to community mental health or something, it's barely, I mean, you barely, if you can. And so we have a really structured supervision program where we do, we oversee the supervisors, we oversee the associates, we do documentation checks, quality checks, because we're the ones who sign. It's a 1099 model, but we're the ones who sign the contract with the insurance payers, who say we're going to meet all of these standards. So we don't hold them to our standards, we hold them to regulatory and insurance standards, which is the model, right? Including Medicaid, not just commercial insurances. And so we do tons of, individual trainings, group meetings for supervisors, group meetings for associates, group meetings for fully licensed therapists, all of them together. We do documentation trainings, we do clinical trainings. There's just a lot of investment we've put into the program to make sure. I mean, it doesn't do us any good, right, to throw a green clinician out into the world and go, good luck. That's not good clinical care. It's going to create a bad reputation for us, a bad experience for them, all of those things. And so I say all of this because I talk a lot, but I'm going to sum up and be quiet after this. Is just that I think, focusing on employee versus 1099 maybe is focusing on the wrong piece of the puzzle, rather looking at that agency component. And maybe there are adjustments you want to make to the definition of the agency, where you ensure that the social workers is protected, because it sounded like there was hey, we want to make sure we're protecting the associate here. And if that's the focus, I don't know that the employee model is very relevant to that piece of the puzzle. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Thank you. Sounds like we'll have lots of discussion.
Yeah.
Is anyone else?
Yeah.
Is that who wanted to talk earlier?
Oh,
Okay.
does someone else want to talk in public session?
Amanda, I don't know if after me,
the comment.
if Amanda wants to, because I went on for so long. But Amanda, I see you're on.
There's Amanda. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I had a session and I had to jump off and then jump back. I just wanted to hear this part, but I feel like I missed like a little bit of this part because I was in session. But I am one of the supervisors that works with Mindful and my associates. And I promise you that because their stuff also falls under my stuff, that I am making sure that my associates are doing everything ethically, clinically, and culturally competency wise, because if they go in front of you guys, I go in front of you guys. And this is a program that I kind of jumped behind because I came from Arizona, and I did community mental health, and I have associates that are transitioning from community mental health, and they don't get the supervision. They don't get anything that I give, Mindful, but like, I can only talk for me, like that I give, as far as talking about diagnoses, assessment, what's clinically appropriate, when to refer out. Under your rules and regulations, we are constantly talking about what the ASWB, the board talks about, CSWE requires, because what I'm seeing, and this kind of ties into that conversation of like, hey, should we cut out the ASWB exam? These people aren't being educated in school for what they need to be competent to take this test. I took this test, I passed. Hundreds of people before me took this test and they passed, right? But that doesn't mean they got what they needed at their community mental health or within their school. Mindful is making sure that happens. I'm making sure that happens for my people. And so, yeah, when you talk about the difference between W-2 or a contract, I get it. It's a political thing I don't care about. What I'm talking about is making sure that my folks are going out as LCSWs and they're being appropriate with their clients. They're being culturally competent, that they have cultural competence, that they have any competence at that point. Because honestly, I've seen folks with LCSWs that I wouldn't consider going to for therapy if you could pay me to. So I don't think it has anything to do with that to a certain level. I think it has to do with why aren't we teaching them what they need to be taught in school? Why is the board not requiring CSWAs to do CEs? Because I was required in Arizona, but I don't see that as the board requirement. So instead of saying, hey, we need to not do these things, maybe we need to come together more and actually work together on making this work better so that people can pass this exam, since people before have been passing, and so they can be set and confident and competent and appropriate, no matter what background they come from, when they do go sit for that LCSW and become independently licensed.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda. Nick, I saw that you jumped on. Did you have something you would like to share?
I'll share just very briefly. So I am Nick Norman. I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker. I'm also the clinical program manager at Mindful Therapy Group. And so I interact very closely with Amanda and with the associates of all licensure types all the time. And I'll echo what Amanda said, that we see the gap as people are entering the field from their master's programs. And they're coming in with an understanding of theory and needing a lot of structure and support around gaining the practical clinical skills that are necessary to be a clinical social worker. And so as we've identified that gap, that's where we have taken a really serious turn to developing educational resources. I hold clinical workshops on documentation twice a month. We track the supervision, we ensure it's happening. We're very, very interested in these folks being prepared and ready for the field as LCSWs. And so, I understand and recognize the concern around, wanting to make sure CSWAs are not taken advantage of. And that's very real, especially in this day and age when the field has shifted so dramatically in the last, 5 or 6 years. But to echo James, I would say that I think that strengthening that definition of what that relationship and support needs to look like with the CSWA is probably going to get us closer to the spirit of what we're wanting for these folks than necessarily hyper-focusing on tax designation. Because we see it, the field is in a very unique and interesting place right now, and we need skilled clinicians. We need folks who have the support to gain those practical clinical skills. And so it's why I'm very grateful for supervisors like Amanda who take it very seriously. And we vet every single supervisor that comes into our group to make sure that they're just as committed. So I just want to echo that, reinforce that we are very committed to support, mentorship, oversight, and doing what needs to be done to help these folks get where they need to go. But I would agree that, it sounds like there is some tightening up that needs to be done. But I think that there's a broader conversation that can be had around that.
Thank you
very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just looking. I didn't know, Kathy, you had other comments before we move forward.
Public comment? Yeah.
Yeah, there's public comment.
Yeah.
I apologize. And if not, Kathy, I wasn't trying to pressure you. I just wanted to.
Opportunity.
Well, I think that it was, would not necessarily be related to this.
That's okay.
Oh, this is public
But
comment.
I do have one thing that I think that is really important and looking at other organizations that do, virtual therapy. There was an example of a CSWA that was working for this company, and there were several others. And there was one that just did a stellar job of really informing with transparency that they were a CSWA, but they were under supervision. And that was really wonderful because that showed that they were being really ethical. When they just say that they are doing therapy and yet they're CSWA, that I think is where there's really some problem that can really cause public harm, because then they don't know who they're really getting. So I think the transparency, as I see it, would be that they tell where they are in their advertisement. And that is an adjustment that ought to be across the board, at least from my perspective as a public. I have other.
Public comment can be about anything.
Can it?
Yes, it's meant to be open forum.
Oh my gosh, Kathy opened up her notebook.
Thanks, Cassie.
All right, so a couple of things, and this is talking about supervision as well. And so one of the things that I'd like to point out is that when we have a CSWA that is that doesn't change their plan of supervision, or they move and they do that, but then they didn't change other things, that did come up, and it does come up, is that we forget, and I say we, I said, you need to also remember to talk to the supervisor. What the supervisor has some responsibility to make sure that their CSWA are getting to count the hours, are getting to move that paperwork forward, because that's their job. And so I just want to remind us that that's really important. And that would be important for you guys as well. See what else. One other one. Sorry. I have one more. Let's see. When we are okay. Darn. There's something else. Where'd it go? Back here. The only one I can think of, which is really minuscule, is that I really want to encourage our minutes to be put on our website as soon as they can be available. It's really kind of discouraging when we look at our own website and we don't have our current information up there and be able to read what the minutes were. I'm just going to really encourage us to really try and be mindful about getting those up there in a timely manner. And do I have any other ones that I put notes on? I think those are probably the main things for right now.
Thanks, Kat.
Kathy?
Anyone else online, or is that the only, are they the
That
only
was
ones
it.
online?
Yeah, I think that
Okay,
was it.
I can't ever tell.
Yeah, try to log in here. It's messy.
Okay, so next on our agenda is old business, and it's the alternative pathways to licensure survey. The survey's closed, so we do have all of the information. That's really going to be Olivia and I getting together, gathering and putting all of that together.
For 3,500.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Turn right.
Okay, so basically, there's nothing for us to look at yet, but next meeting? Is
Yeah,
that your
yes.
what you're focusing on?
And
Okay.
one of the things, and I'll share this because Ray and I have talked about this, that part of the Behavioral Health Talent Council, one of the recommendations is alternative pathway across all behavioral health, whether that's social work board, LPC, psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, like all those things that touch behavioral health. And the governor, I know that was part of one of the recommendations. that wouldn't just affect us, like it's gonna affect all the different boards. And so us being able to have some good information so that we can inform the governor's office of like, here's what we know. And here's our recommendation. Here's what we think is gonna work best, not just for social work, but other, you know.
Based on collected data.
And I think, I mean, this survey is a really great tool to say, here's what we know from social workers in Oregon, what they think and what they want.
Trying to do something that works for all boards, though, I think could be problematic.
It's gonna be.
I don't know if that's
hard lift.
achievable, quite honestly, but we'll just see what the data tells us and keep moving forward.
Yeah, so that's yes, we have information, but we don't have information to share.
Got it.
We will meet and come back to y'all. Because Olivia was like, I want to do a pivot table. And I was like, oh, please, you. That's on you. Know how to do that.
I really want to look at, also, I looked, there's 2,420 respondents who put in written comments.
Wow.
So I want to go through those. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully there's themes.
Yeah, no, we're gonna do it like paper
I'm sure there's
style, who are
themes,
looking
yeah.
for themes. Yeah.
Great. Wonderful.
That's where you're gonna get
Okay.
information, is those written comments.
Yeah. Like we have there's graphs of like who selected what on the thing, but yeah, I'm like, what did the people say?
Right.
Is what I want to look at.
Okay. Thanks for doing it. Appreciate it.
The next is on new business, really just, I just wanted to update and share this with you guys. Inbox, there is a board member handbook. It's the State of Oregon Board Member Handbook. If you have not seen this, or maybe you have seen this before, just the reminder of like, if you want to, please go take a look at that. And this is what helps guide us in doing our job. And then the other, that one is also in Box. And I'll give you maybe I'll give it to you. I think it's 2020-26, number 12A. We double check.
Yes.
So this came out in January. And this was to all of the boards, to all the agencies, boards and commissions. So just wanted to also share this with you guys, which is about legislative engagement. Just as a reminder, I wanted to share that with you guys. No, because they're all
Okay, got it.
scheduled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Yes, please.
sitting in prior boards, but having 3 boards that I was responsible for, the legislative engagement policy will change from administration to administration. So it's good to always keep abreast of what the current administration and what current legislative assembly moment, because this could have been different January of 25 for that session coming into 26. These types of instructions can change from one session to the next, and also from one administration to the next. So just
What
give
instruction?
you a heads up on that type of
Legislative engagement.
what's expected.
Oh, that, gotcha. Okay.
What's expected of those of us in boards and commissions and advisory committee roles.
I'm going to make some assumptions. And Trey, I don't know if this is true, if you've experienced this, that next January, they'll send something else out.
Correct.
And so when they do, that might be really good for us to then just talk about in our board meeting to say, here's the new, or the what's continuing and what's new for us.
Yep.
Okay. Questions? We have next.
Let's go just on real quick, board member training.
Oh, it was just this.
Oh, just that? Okay.
Yeah, the ASWB one I'll talk about
Down
in
later.
a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
it was really just that.
All right.
Yeah. And then there is a board member training on our work day, but if we can access work day,
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah, that's. Who else cannot access work? You still
I
can't
can't,
access?
I can't
work?
because it's tied to my OHA.
But I thought we fixed that.
They won't let me back
haven't
in
tried.
and I can't get anybody. to
Okay,
go.
all right, okay, so you can't access work, you can't,
I haven't tried.
OHA.
Want to try.
okay, all right, okay, hang on. Exactly, okay, so let me write this down. Okay, so Molly, workday,
I can.
I don't know if I can. I will try to log in and let you know,
okay,
you can if there's an issue.
so right now it's Nikki and Troy, and yeah, we talked already.
Well, and mine was associated with
It's over.
my.
Oh, it was, we
email.
confirmed, it
That's
actually
exactly-
was?
And my state phone.
Oh, okay, then we got, I didn't know that, okay.
Yeah.
We got to fix that thing, I didn't realize, okay. All right,
We do need to talk about board meeting dates because we needed to change one in April.
April,
Well, April, if you wanted to talk about this, you're gonna be gone.
In April is the ASWB education meeting
Mhm.
and our board meeting, if we were to like, didn't we have to shift it for a different reason also?
Well, June is
Juneteenth.
It's June. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for keeping me straight. So April,
April's the 17th right now,
right, and that's the ASWB education.
and you're gonna be at that.
I will be at that.
I don't know if anyone else is.
so we would still have quorum if you're not here.
Yep.
And we have a vice chair.
And I think I said that, like,
But we're also down.
Yeah, so
So I'm hesitant to have a meeting with an even smaller group, just because we're already down two.
yeah, because if one of you
Okay.
can't make it, then it's like,
Right.
Okay, it's a lot of pressure.
Well, and just with the idea of, more voices.
yeah.
So if we can reschedule in April,
Yeah.
I don't know how realistic it is with everyone's availability, but
24 is better for me if we stay on Fridays. 24 is better for 2Js.
April,
April. I can do the 24th.
We say on Fridays because of
Yeah, I think that.
permission to have any Friday off.
Kyle, what's your schedule?
I can meet on Friday, on the 24th. I'm open right now.
Wow.
So if you want to do that.
Hey.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's all on you.
no pressure.
I can.
It's always the team's option to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can attend remotely.
Yeah, no, there's nothing on my calendar right now, but I feel like. Oh, wait, no. No, yeah, it should be good. May is the month that I'm like, something is missing from a 20 date. Okay, the 24th.
17.
April 24th.
Oh, that's a miracle.
Okay, so April, but we need to look at June because the 19th is Juneteenth, so we need to change the June date also.
Or myself, 12.
Yeah.
I'll be here on 12. I will not be here on 26.
There's also the 5th technically in June.
I like the 12th. I have a competing meeting on the 5th.
I can make the 12th work.
5th would work for me too.
I can-
Any Friday for me. It'd be fine.
I can do a 12.
Let's do the 12th.
Look how amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy. I thought you had hesitance on that one.
We were like on the first week.
Okay, so we said June 12th.
Mhm.
Was,
And the only other one would be December. Moving it out of the first Friday and moving it to a different Friday.
December.
Yeah, because it's just kind of a nightmare after Thanksgiving.
And then I also have a competing board meeting that day too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
One of your many.
I'm okay 11 or 18.
December, give me a second.
Is there nothing in October?
October 16th is what's on.
There's not one in November usually.
What date are we looking at December?
December.
The 11th or the 11th.
Technically, I can make the 18th work. I'll be honest, I'd rather have it be the 11th just because that pushes to like end of school year with kids and closer to holiday nonsense. So
Too close.
October, depending. I don't know. My plans are solid, but October might be out for me.
Okay.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll have a couple board members by then too. We won't be as low.
I can make December 11th work.
Me too.
Okay.
Easiest
11?
meeting
Okay.
date.
I'm Jackson.
We'll get the calendar updated and.
Yeah, if it's updated, then it's done. Sorry.
October, I'm gonna double check, but I'm okay October.
Boardrooms available for those days. We might have to go downstairs.
When is the October meeting scheduled right now?
16.
16.
Okay, well, if we have to, we have couple other board meetings.
Yeah, we can.
If we need to talk about different months.
So, yeah, so we're not, we're gonna leave Friday, October 16th. Is that what it's,
for right now.
right, cool.
Next on the agenda is our consent agenda, which sounds off and I just didn't see it.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, I see it.
yeah. It was recently added.
Thank you, Ken.
Was a motion needed on the consent agenda or is it? Move approval for consent agenda dated February 2026.
Thank you, Troy. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Olivia. Amy, aye.
Troy, aye.
Molly, I.
Nikki, I.
Olivia, I.
Wonderful. So consent agenda has been approved.
Yay.
There's a lot of people
Mhm.
on there. Oh,
Yes. Oh, the bar graph is so tiny.
yep. Do we have correspondence?
We got a lot of correspondence.
Yeah.
But they're short.
there, right?
Most of them are 2 or 3 minute reads. And yeah, I would recommend you all read them because that's the feedback that you all.
One was on the survey.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you all see anything in there that's actionable, we can always put board agenda items on or if anything that you all have discussions on.
Mhm.
Or I can also reach out to someone if you want me to do that.
So when someone emails us and says they want us to vote no, like, are they understand? Like we,
It's public comment.
I don't want them to like, I mean.
I can respond.
Yeah, let them know like we're not, we don't get to vote
Yeah,
on
mhm,
that.
I would find.
Here's who you need to, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I can do that. Glad.
Yeah. I just would hate for their time and energy to land in, in the place where it's not gonna get.
That's true.
Like, I hear you and I wish I could vote, but they don't let me.
What, if that one pager? That one pager we just looked at a second ago on legislative engagement page.
Yeah,
What's it say?
That tells us what we can do or not do.
Oh, yeah.
right.
I'm just wondering whether that is part of the answer back.
Yeah.
Appreciate the comment.
Oh, just shoot that legislative engagement
that
document. That's actually a really good idea.
Not just
Yes.
like the social work, but broadly, I'm gonna presume that other document is public.
I'm sure it would be. It makes sense to me that that's not. So,
yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot of it is actually about the bill.
Yeah, that is.
The latter half, okay.
Hear you.
Any further discussion on correspondence? Oh, sorry, I didn't see the rest.
Can't vote on, oh, you're talking about yeah. But I mean, the public does what the public does.
Hey, just a few announcements. I did want to share NASW has not, or Oregon has not had an executive director. And I did hear back, I did reach out to NASW and I did hear back from Christina and let us know that they hired leadership for the NASW Oregon chapter. This was on February 4th and that they were supposed to be starting the following week. So I just wanted to share that because typically NASW would come and provide an update, but we haven't had a representative. So she said that
Is it Christina or?
Christina Lorelei, which is the manager chapter
okay.
operations with NASW,
Okay.
is who ended up emailing me back.
Okay, but that's not the director.
No,
Okay.
no. So I don't know who it is yet,
Right, it is.
but I just wanted to share with you guys. That's at least what I know about NASW. And ASWB, there's new board member training. I talked to both Troy and Olivia about that, so I know they were registering. And then in April is the education meeting. And I don't know if, are you going to that, Ray?
I'll take a look.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
What's that?
There's a lot of folks that show up that talk about the research that either ASWB said yes, or that they're saying, this is what we're hearing in the field around, it could be any topic. This time it's around supervision.
Oh, interesting.
And so there's going to be a lot of education around supervision, what it's
Interesting.
like, the importance, different. So there is that. I think, Molly, on ASWB, like we get to send. I think that there is I know that there is like for the executive directors of the boards, they have a meeting there.
Yeah.
And then there is a board meeting of board members. So I will go just because I serve as a chair for one of the, but I think there's a opportunity to do like, I don't know what it's called, y'all. Scholarship, that if we wanted to send somebody else, that if you guys wanted to go, an additional person you can go on and there's a scholarship.
It might be free because you're part of the.
Mine is free.
Part of the body.
As the chair.
Right. But if we want to, and then so is Ray's.
Yeah.
Because there is a director meeting.
Right.
Where is that one?
It's in Rhode Island.
April 17, 18.
And when's the new board member training one? And when and where? Because they will rotate the location of that too, don't they?
Yeah, first one, new board member trainings, March 19, 21
It's coming up.
in Clearwater, Florida. I have conflicts, so that will not be, I'm going to the one, then there's a June
I think the June is
June's
the online
online.
one, right?
Yeah.
conflict with that one.
What's the date of that?
June 4, 5
But it's online.
online. Yeah, but I won't be able to even be online. But the October one for the next new board member training is October 1 through 3, and I've registered for that one.
Where's that one at?
In Washington, DC.
Ooh.
Just got back. Just got
You're
back.
going to DC? We should go.
Right?
I've never been to the new board member training.
Molly's going.
11 years ago.
Molly's going.
I mean, we had a pandemic and then,
Mhm.
like October. I'll look at the October one.
And then I want to remind everyone, so you already know this, that because based on our discussion, we regulate social workers, not agencies. We do not regulate agencies. We are not beholden to respond to agencies. We don't do much of anything with agencies. We regulate social
Oh,
workers.
no. Oh, wait. Okay.
I also want another announcement, just so you guys know, Inbox is the newsletter.
Oh, yes.
And when will that go out?
If you guys are good with it, it'll go out as soon as you are happy with it. Yeah.
And we don't have to vote on it.
No.
You're just saying, put eyes on it, make sure it's.
Yeah, and it's just a draft still because I think still waiting on a couple articles, right?
Well,
If-
newsletter?
If you guys want.
Yeah,
to.
we have to we need to give her articles.
You don't have to. There's nothing that says you guys have to.
We probably should.
Excuse me.
Amy's like.
There's no like required format for this.
That's she's right.
Whatever.
Not like Oprah.
That is correct.
You guys already told me what you're putting in here. Just cheat code. So we'll want to update
an
obviously
fun.
board meeting.
Mhm.
Those are gonna happen.
Yeah. Yep. Isn't it?
And thank you for the reminder on the 6-month report in there. So, and it worked like with the revisions.
Did it? Yeah, Cassie. Let me double check on the responses we got from, I think it's fine though.
Okay.
Okay. Right, we sent it out to people to try it. Okay.
I know, you guys don't really push me coding. So I did the PDF and I did all the coding for the PDF for the 6-month report. I was like, man, y'all.
So then let us know you can vote.
Get challenged.
Yeah, no, that's part of the board chair duties.
Yep.
No, you did a great job.
You did amazing.
That was fine.
You did awesome.
I had to call in kids to help.
That changed my whole worldview when I saw that thing come back. I'm like, you can do that? Wow.
My little box, every code that I used would not work. Recoded it, didn't work. Recoded. Okay. Well, I thank you guys so much. And thank you for thoughtful conversation, comments. I really appreciate it. It is 2:10 and we will adjourn the February meeting of Oregon Board of Health and Social Work. Thank you guys for coming.
Good meeting.
We do have spots for this.
Pass it down if you guys, I'm sure everyone's got stuff they want to